What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Midnight Massacre page, and this is another movie review from myself, Raven Shadow, and Vincent Rains.
Hello.
And what did we watch?
We watched the 1993 Joel Schumacher classic, Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas.
I didn't know it was a classic. In fact, I've actually only seen like a couple movies with Michael Douglas in it. I've seen Fatal Attraction and like one other one, I think. Not seen a lot of Michael Douglas stuff. And I had heard of this movie, I'm pretty sure just because you told me about it.
Possibly.
But anyway, yeah, as soon as he told me what it was about, I was like, well, that sounds interesting. And it is. It's a really weird movie. It's a deep movie, too. I got a lot of different theories out of it, I think.
So, for our last few reviews, we mainly talked about horror movies. We did watch The Joker too, but most of the movies we watched is something neither of us had seen, and they're fairly newer movies. Now, what the plan was for tonight was we were each going to choose a movie that the other had not seen. Raven couldn't quite decide on one to show me, so initially, my plan was to show Raven Planet of the Apes.
Still never seen it.
Original, which he had never seen.
Yep.
But I thought, okay, that's one that has been talked up quite a bit. And while that is probably in my top 10 favorite movies of all time, Falling Down is also high up there for me as well. And I thought, this would be one that doesn't get really talked about that much anymore. Because it actually was a hit when it came out. I don't know what it really done at the box office, but it was pretty successful in '93 when it came out. Then it just really fell off the radar, and I didn't actually see it till I was in college. I think probably 2010 or 11 was the first time I ever saw it, and ever since then it's really struck with me, and I always try to introduce it to people who are really deep into, a very artistic movie. Someone who's not just,
Smart people like me.
Yeah.
That'll get it.
Not your typical Marvel superhero movie crowd, your popcorn movies. People who actually enjoy good cinema. This is one I always try to show them.
I really liked this movie a lot. I'm still kind of digesting it.
And we just have finished watching it,
yeah,
most of our reviews.
Yeah, but I got like different kind of ideas. Like the thing that I find kind of fascinating about the movie is you're not really sure whether or not you're supposed to like this guy, because there will be moments where he just comes off like a complete psychopath, and then there's other moments where it's like, yeah, he's crazy, but he has morals, and you'll see him not do certain things because it's wrong. And you're like, okay, maybe he's kind of all right, but then he'll do something crazy again.
Yeah, there's actually, I don't know if you caught the line, but it is one of my favorite lines actually in cinema because of what it reflects upon. Is, okay, so this movie came out in 1993. Spoilers from this point on. Definitely a movie you want to check out if you want a roller coaster for the mind, something that's really going to keep you thinking, keep you wondering, like Raven said, what am I supposed to think about this guy? Definitely something you want to check out. But so getting into spoilers here, the last scene, the climactic scene where they're on the pier, and as soon as Robert Duvall, after he pulls a gun on him and tells him, we're going to arrest you, you're under arrest, all this. Michael Douglas says, "I'm the bad guy."
Yeah, where did that happen?
Yeah, so when did that happen? How did that happen? And so, because you go through this movie, he's your first guy you meet. You think this is our protagonist here, and that's what you start believing to begin with. He's just this vigilante hero. Like, this guy's standing up for the little man.
And he is relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's situations in the movie where you're watching him do something and you're like, if I was at that position, that's what I would want to do.
Yeah. None of us are ever really going to be able to go through with that, but that's my guy right there. He's doing it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just get through this entire movie, and then by the end, you're sitting there thinking, okay, who's going to stop this guy? This guy he does need to be stopped. And at the end, he says, I'm the bad guy. How did that happen? And it really makes you think back, like, where does he become a bad guy? Like, at what point does he cross the line from, just having a bad day and blowing off steam to
Having to be stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a monster.
Because you could say it's when he first commits murder, but the guy he kills is someone, most of us say was very deserving to be killed.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much, everybody he hurts in the movie to an extent is someone you don't like, until he starts threatening his wife. And there were like little clues, or I guess I thought they were clues, they didn't really turn out to be, but like there were moments early on in the movie where I was thinking that maybe the wife is somehow made him this way, because there's the scene where she gets a scary phone call from him. He tells her he's coming home. She says, no, you're not. You can't come near me. You can't come near our child. And he's like, no, I'm coming there. And apparently she had a restraining order against him. So she calls the cops. The cops come over there, ask her a few questions, and the cop says, has he ever hit the kid? She says, no. Has he ever hit you? She's like, no, but I think he could.
Yeah, like if this is all in her head.
Like she's very hesitant to answer the questions, and so that had me thinking, like, is this just something that, like, has sort of created him in a way? Like, he can't be around his family, he can't see his kid, and maybe she's the one that's messed up, and that's just another thing that is added to him snapping. But no, he's crazy. He would have hit her. He would have hit her.
Definitely.
Yep. Robert Duvall's character, to me, was kind of like the most interesting character in the movie, in a way.
Because it starts out, you kind of think he might just be some little secondary character, but toward the end, he's your focus. I mean, he is your actual protagonist in this movie.
And this movie has a lot of things to say about mental illness. That's a huge theme in the movie. And the thing that I put together, that I don't know if I was supposed to put it together, but theory that I came up with was at the end of the movie when they're on the pier, Robert Duvall, like, you can tell he doesn't want to shoot him. He doesn't want to hurt the guy. I got this idea that he thought he could save him. He thought he could help him, because all throughout the movie, his wife, Robert Duvall's character's wife, also has a mental illness that she had somehow developed in middle age, and he has had to live with her and somehow try to keep her as normal as he can, because he loves her. He loves his wife, but he knows she's crazy. But
I won't go as far as say it's mental illness. She's just, after their daughter, they have a daughter who's died, and she's just.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
She's just become mentally distressed over that.
Yeah, well, there was wasn't there the scene where he was talking to his female cop buddy, I think, and he was telling her that there was a point where his wife thought that he was a ghost or something.
He had come home late one night, and she had worked it into her head that he had been killed. That he had been killed in a line of duty, and then when he finally came home, she was so convinced that he was already dead that she was scared that he was a ghost. Yeah,
and he had to chase her around the house for hours to convince her that that was really him. He's fine. He's just home from work. I took that as that she had some sort of mental illness. Yeah. And then I related that to how he approached Michael Douglas's character at the end. I was thinking it was going to be one of these, he lives at home with his wife, that he has somehow found a way to, like I say, kind of keep her as normal as he can, try to convince her that everything's okay. I thought that was going to be, that's what he was trying to do with Michael Douglas's character. Instead of shooting him, he was trying to be like a savior in a way.
Yeah. So, it's definitely a movie also you want to watch on, you want to take it in multiple viewings, because there are those little things that the first time you're watching it, like you said, you don't know really if you're supposed to be rooting for this guy or not. Who is your actual protagonist here? But on multiple viewings, you can actually start to really pick up on things he'll say that really give his character away. Yeah. Such as when he climbs the fence into this mansion and there's this family having a barbecue, and he starts explaining to them, I'm just going home to see my family. It's my daughter's birthday. We're going to have a cookout for her. He says there's a line in there that at the first viewing, you really don't think much of it. It's just in passing. But when you go back and watch it, it really does stand out, because he'll say something about, she'd be out there playing while me and her mom talked about grown-up things. Then when it gets dark, we'll all go to sleep. We'll all go to sleep in the dark.
Yeah. I'm just now putting that together now that you say that, giving, what he was going to do at the end of the movie. Yeah.
And it's never actually, it's never proven that he was truly going to kill his wife and daughter, but he keeps saying, things are going to go back to the way they were. He wants to make things better, and it's better for himself, because he says, you took her away from me, but no one's going to take her away again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the storyline with the wife, I was really back and forth on it for a long time, just because of those early cues. I really thought, that, the wife she's crazy. Like, she's a mean-spirited person that has done this to this guy, And
it portrays her in that light at the very beginning. You think, okay, she's just, it sounds like she's antagonizing him.
Yeah.
Because, he's just like, I'm coming home. I want to see my daughter's like, no, you're not coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't see her anymore.
Yeah. So obviously, like, something has happened there. But yeah, I just took that to be that, she's busting this guy's balls, man. But as we go further into the movie and you see him unfold, you really can see why somebody like that with a family would end up in that situation at some point.
And like I said, he's still very relatable all the way through it. You kind of put yourself into that situation, like, well, how far would you be going just to see the one you love again? But then, of course, when you find out his motives and like to what extremes he's going to go through.
Yeah, and this guy in his own mind, 100% believes that he is normal. The rest of the world is crazy. He can't understand why things can't just be as simple as the way he sees them in his mind.
Because he was lied to. He's mad that he was lied to. And we've all been at some point. And that's something, maybe that's why this movie resonates with me so well, because where he says he was overskilled and undereducated,
or maybe
or
it was
the other way around.
Yeah.
And that's something,
because he was fired from his job, and that's what they told him, I guess. Yeah.
And that's something, going through my careers, something I've thought of is, how
you have a career of having multiple careers.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And
but my career path starting in college, I was led to believe, this is the way it's got to be. You got to go to college. You got to do this and that.
Because college always guarantees you a career.
Exactly.
Especially if you're going to school for that thing.
Yeah, especially
always works out.
If you're a 17-year-old high schooler with wild ambitions and no grasp on reality, college is for you.
Next thing you know, you're 30 and you're sitting on a couch talking about movies into a phone.
Yeah. Here sucking down cigarettes and pipes and eating old Little Caesars pizzas.
Yeah. Anyway, an example of what he's talking about, the relatability of his character. What do we call the character? I mean, they list him in the credits as
Defends.
Defends.
His name is Bill.
Yeah, I think didn't they only call him Bill just like a couple times?
Yeah.
There's a scene towards the beginning. He simply walks into a convenience store to ask for change because he's trying to get change for the payphone to call his wife.
And this movie really dates itself, especially with that scene.
Yeah, yeah. So he goes in, tells the clerk, which is happens to be a Korean guy, and he says, you know, like, can you give me change for this dollar so I can use the payphone? And the guy says, well, we don't give change. You have to buy something. So okay, fair enough. He walks over to the you know, cooler. Yeah, I was about to say freezer, but anyway, he gets a can of Coca-Cola, brings it to the counter, and the guy's like, okay, it's 85 cents. It's like, okay, well, if I buy that, I'm not going to have enough change left over for the payphone. And he's like, oh, I don't care, it's 85 cents. And he goes, why don't I give you 50 cents for it and you give me 50 cents back for change? I know it doesn't work that way. But then, you know, he proceeds to, I know he beats the guy up, but what
Well, he doesn't even beat the guy up. He
trashes his store.
Yeah, the clerk, Mr. Lee, he pulls out his baseball bat, and Michael Douglas, you know, jumps him to get it back from him so he don't attack him, then destroys the store.
Yeah, and as he's destroying the store, he's like, okay, how much does that cost? Oh, yeah, that's too much. Hits it with a baseball bat. And you're just like, yeah, I want to do this. Yeah. I want to be this guy.
Now, bear in mind, this was 1993. He was upset that a can of Coke cost 85 cents then.
Oh, dude, if he was in 2020, he would have killed that guy then himself immediately. Yeah. It's like Coca-Cola, $1.50? Oh, my God. Just burned down the whole city. But, so that's just one example. And there's several examples like this because the world around him, they are being dicks to him. They are 100%.
He goes into, it's not really McDonald's, but it's the whammy burger, I think they call it. Goes in there for breakfast, and they
now,
stop.
This is the scene I thought he was being the asshole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like they stopped serving breakfast 3 minutes ago. But we have been in that situation, like, you know, if you're just a few minutes too late, like, I really want a breakfast. It's 2 minutes after. Can I?
Yeah, that's the first point I realized that everything that had happened in the movie up until this point was all like in one morning. Because it kind of seems like it's
a long day.
Yeah, it's a very, very long day he's living. But yeah, he goes in and asks for breakfast, and they're like, well, we're not serving breakfast now. He's like, yeah, but I want it. Well, we can't make it. And then next thing you know, he's pulling a gun out in this place. And I was just thinking, like, all right, like, we've all been in that situation. The guy's pissed off. He's been in a lot of situations already that we wish we had behaved like him if we were in it. But now I'm like, this poor girl behind the counter, probably hating her job, and this guy's just giving her shit over wanting breakfast.
All of us who've worked retail, that scene doesn't quite resonate quite as well because, you know, we've all been, you know, if someone would have pulled a gun on me when I was working at Radio Shack, I'd just been like, okay, this is really what I got out of bed for today.
Yeah, this is what I'm making $8 an hour for. Somebody's pull a gun.
Oh, wow, I wasn't even making that.
Well, that's been a while.
Yeah.
Back when money went just a little bit further than it does now. A little bit, not much. But anyway, from a filmmaking standpoint, is there anything you want to say? I think the acting was... My favorite things were the acting and the script itself, because this was actually a very beautifully written movie. The dialogue is great. It's very good at making you feel the emotions that it wants you to feel, just because of how good the writing is and how good of a job that the actors are doing. So that's definitely a plus. Filmmaking, you know, from a directing standpoint, even the directing was good. There was a lot of there was even a couple shots in there that I'd never seen in a movie before, like the one where you see the guy outside of the bank with the picket sign, and then it pans down to the snow globe.
It kind of zooms back out and comes through the snow
globe. It
zooms
and does this tilt downward, and you know, it's nuts and bolts stuff from filmmaking. But I mean, it was good. It definitely does feel dated. But
now the opening sequence of this movie actually was borrowed from I can't remember the name of the movie. I want to say it was an old Italian or French movie from right about the 60s, maybe early 70s. I know I watched it in a foreign film class in college, this other movie, and the scene is pulled directly from that, where he's stuck in the car, and he's stuck in traffic. There's a fly going around back and forth, and it's a very claustrophobic scene. Like, I have been in this point where I was stuck in traffic, my air wasn't working, stuck in the middle of a busy highway. I had to roll my window down, but it's middle of summer, so it's just stale air. His window's broken, and the angles keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter, zooming in closer. Just, that's where this movie, from the very start, pulls you in, because it engages you from that second. You automatically get feeling anxious, just as he is, and
the pacing of the movie is so good. Because how long is this movie? Like 2 hours? It doesn't feel like it. I mean, it maintained my interest.
12 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it maintained my interest the entire time. So, yeah, from all the technical aspects are very well done.
I feel like Schumacher gets a bad reputation for
Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
he apologized for it.
That wasn't Bat Nipples, was it? That was
Bat Nipples.
That was Bat Nipples. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was like zoom in on it, nice tight.
I was thinking it was
Batman Forever.
Yeah, Batman Forever, but yeah. So he gets a bad reputation for Bat Nipples, but he's done some other good work.
I want to say, I could be wrong about this, but I think he also did the number 23. Maybe.
Number 23.
The Jim Carrey movie about the number 23.
Possibly. I've actually not even seen that movie.
Google that. See who directed the number 23. I think it was him.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
But yeah, I mean, he's done some really good work through the years. That's just that one movie tends to stand out with people. But yeah, from a filmmaking perspective, like I said, I watched this for the first time in college, and the story alone, just the character, the role reversal.
Yeah, it's the same man that did this.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So he did
the role reversal in it. Like I said, it starts out, you think Michael Douglas is your protagonist, and then by the end of the movie, Robert Duvall is definitely your protagonist.
For sure. Yeah. He puts up with a lot of shit in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, until that one phone call towards the end of the shift.
He
finally puts his wife in her place.
And I mean, he has a true character arc there. He's been henpecked for so many years and just beaten down by it, and he finally.
I will say he does have a convincing character arc, but the thing about his character arc that I guess I didn't like is because it's so played out. And I know this was 1993, but still, I mean, even the 80s was full of movies where your main character is a retiring cop. It's their last day on the job. And of course,
his character is definitely nothing new.
Yeah, he's trying to retire, but of course, something pulls them back in. And by the end of the movie, well, I'm not retiring. He's just going to keep being a cop. Like that, you've seen that a million times.
That part is nothing new.
Yeah.
What is kind of interesting, and it's hard for me to even go back to watching this in the first light that I saw it. As I first watched this movie, I'm rooting for Michael Douglas, and I'm kind of like, Robert Duvall needs to stay back because I don't want him stopping Michael Douglas. You want to see how far he's going to go, how far he's going to take it. Don't let anyone get in his way. Then by the end, you're like, okay, please stop this guy.
Yeah.
You've got to stop this guy.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's what I love about this movie is there's no clear line that he crosses. It's
gradual.
Yeah. And you ask different people their opinion, they're going to say it's a different point. I mean, my personal thought is, the old men on the golf course. I mean, they were douchebags. I've worked for a golf course, and I know there's douchebags that come in. And there's some of these people, you're like, really? Come on. And they're just putting down the work, because he thought he was a worker there to begin with. He's still yelling at him.
Yeah.
Just putting him down to nothing. and belittling him, and we've all dealt with that. But he could have been having a bad day too. Mm-hmm. He's just an old man, and when he lets this old man die, just for his own, I won't say his own pleasure, but for his mission there, just letting this old man die. That's personally where I see he's crossed the line.
The first time that I started, I guess, thinking it was, and I can't remember if this happened before or after that scene, but I think it happened before. It was the phone call, not the first phone call where he gets through to his wife, but I think the second one when
he says,
he's directly threatening.
Yeah, where he says there's countries in South America.
Yeah, there's countries in South America where you can still legally kill your wife. And, like, at the point he says that, that's what put it in.
That's when he says, I've crossed the point of no return.
Yeah.
Because he talks about the Apollo 13 mission, saying, I'm in a can around the moon, and we're all going to see if it's a dead man inside.
Yeah, that goes to what I was saying about the movie just being so well written, about how, how you reach a certain point where it's easier to just finish than it is to go back to the beginning, and about having to circle the moon, so here he is letting her know, you're just waiting for me to come around the other side,
And even up till that point, he's not done anything that's really unforgivable, because he, like I said, yes, he has committed a murder at this point in the movie, but the guy he killed, I mean, it's in self-defense anyways, but the guy he killed, he was very well deserving of it.
Well, and he shot, are you talking about the gang, the drive-by?
No, he hadn't even killed anybody at that point.
Yeah, because he shot the guy in the leg.
Told him to take shooting lessons.
The first guy he kills is actually the Nazi, the neo-Nazi, right? Yeah. What else can we say about the movie other than you should watch it?
There was a friend of mine in college that showed it to me first, and I wasn't even. I was kind of going along with the rest of the group. He was mentioning, like, y'all, we got to watch this movie tonight. And okay, Michael Douglas, he's pretty good. I like Kirk Douglas better, but sure, I'll settle for Michael.
Was Kirk his dad?
Yeah.
Was his dad. He's not nobody's dad now.
But so I watched it and I'm like, wow, yeah, this is something else here. And it was just one of those. It's always stood out to me. Granted, again, this movie's 27 years old, so if you haven't seen it by now, it is definitely one to look up and find. And what is a tragedy, in my opinion, is I think I actually bought this in the $5 bin at Walmart.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's where they throw all the bullshit. Mm-hmm. Well, occasionally there's some really good in there.
Yeah, you find a few good ones. But like I said, this was actually pretty successful at the box office. But then it just, in the years since, it just kind of fell off.
Why do you think it faded? My theory is that it kind of, because it came out so early in the decade, I think it just sort of got overshadowed by so many.
Yeah, there were
things
so many other things.
This came out the same year as Terminator 2. Or no, it didn't. Terminator 2 was a little earlier. But it was a couple years earlier. But then by the time you get into the mid-90s, there was just so many blockbusters. I mean, you had Titanic and, even just movies.
Titanic is the one that pretty much drowns out everything. No pun intended. Drowns out everything else from the 90s.
Well, even movies in this genre, like say something like Seven, was a big hit. So that would be my theory. It kind of why maybe it got sort of forgotten because of so many things that came out that decade.
Yeah. So I guess final thoughts on this. Your rating of it.
What did I do the other ones on a scale of 10?
Yeah.
I really want to give that. I don't know. I really want to give it like a solid 8, maybe. I think that's somewhere. I put The Lighthouse somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I guess I like The Lighthouse more, but then again, these are like two completely different kinds of movies. Yeah, so I'm not going to do that. That wouldn't be fair. So, just taking it on a movie by movie basis, I would give this like an 8 out of 10. I think it's not something I would go back and watch like a lot, but I can see myself you know, a couple times later on in life, just going back and watching it again.
And I'm to the point in my life, if I buy a movie, it has to be one that I will keep going back to watch. And I won't say I watch it multiple times a year. And I don't watch a lot of my favorite movies multiple times a year. I don't want them to lose their luster. But I do go back to this maybe once a year or two. I still go back and watch it. And I would definitely have to give it a good solid 8.5. I don't know how far up I would rank it in my favorite movies, because that is such a broad list when you include every genre.
Yeah.
I
can't
do
a
say
list with every genre.
I think Planet of the Apes is in my top 10 favorite movies, but that's a different review for a different day.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have to say Falling Down definitely probably comes in my top 20, 25, almost maybe even my top 15. It is I believe it is a masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've never seen old Joel Schumacher really do a bad movie other than Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a pretty steady track record. There's something else. Oh yeah, I was gonna say there are some movies though that just don't lose their luster. I was just saying the other day about, when I was watching The Burbs, there was a point when I was in high school when I had I had it on VHS. Kids, what a VHS is. I did that joke in another video. So I put that thing in every night for I think like 2 weeks straight, and watched it that many times. And it never gets old to me. Beetlejuice never gets old. Evil Dead 2 never gets old.
Rocky Horror never gets old.
That one too.
I constantly watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rocky 5. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And I think oddly enough, like we actually watched. I think when the first time I saw this, I think we watched Rocky Horror that same night, but I'd already seen Rocky Horror like 2,000 times before it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. And so, quick announcement. If you're watching this now, whether you've watched it from our Facebook page or my YouTube page, you'll have noticed that my personal YouTube page, the Vincent Reigns Official, is going to be the new home for the Midnite Movie Reviews, as well as some of my other series. We still will share these links to Facebook, but as with the last upload, it kind of went up a little wonky. You know, it broke up into 4 different parts and didn't go up in order. So I think it's just going to be easier to start posting these things on YouTube and then just share the link.
Which means y'all got some subscribing to do.
Yes.
So what do they say? Smash that like button. Stick the thumb up his ass.
You got it.
The like thumb, not your actual thumb.
All right. Any final words?
Yeah, I have a couple. Butt cheeks.
And boobs.
The sun sucks. Comment if you know what we're referencing. It'll be somebody else in the band that'll get it.
I just realized something.
What's that?
This sucks.